Oh, did you need a minute?
No, it's fine. My computer's being a slow bitch anyway.
Okay.
I just hope I don't get my thumb caught in this. That'd be really bad.
Yeah. What is that? SVT thumb?
So this is a Jungmann, AG42B Jungmann. It is.
Never heard that combination of letters before.
I thought he was just making some shit up.
Yeah,
Like that's not even.
No, it's a
It's
real
not even real
thing.
words.
Like
Wow.
the way you open the bolt, you have to push the dust cover forward, and it catches the bolt carrier, and then it brings it back. And then to close it, you have to put the gun on fire, and then you pull back on the dust cover, and it just slams it home. So the way you load this is via stripper clips, and if you like happen to get your thumb in there and accidentally depress the I guess like the bolt catch, you can like it's worse than Garand thumb by far.
I'll Venmo you $100 if you do it right now.
Oh, no, dude. Like my medical bills would be a lot more than that.
Which country made that gun?
I feel like
Sweden.
I need to intro us so we can like actually catch all of this on the recording because this is gonna get trimmed off while we're.
No, don't trim anything.
Oh,
No, just send it.
Connor,
Just send
don't.
it. Yeah. Just send it.
Oh, okay.
This is educational.
Okay. Yeah. Just I guess I don't want to trim it on the off chance he does slam his thumb in there. We definitely want that. But all right, welcome back to the A Zone, everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking about some rifle shooting, and we're also going to be talking about me switching to carry optics again. So should be fun. First off, I'm just going to kick it to you three. Tell us about the rifle stuff.
It's boring.
It's not as cool as pistol
I think
shooting.
It's exciting. I think it's exciting. Yes.
It's definitely something different.
So what have you been doing other than just vaguely shooting rifles?
Did three things. Shot an AK match with Calvin. Started shooting some like performance drills with Matt, and shot a rifles only AR match with what's not really an AR match. It's a rifles only match with some of the other people we shoot with, but Sons of Liberty Gunworks. They're kind of like a 2-gun-ish style match, but it's rifles only. Long story short is if you only shoot rifles twice a year, it's a bad time. The stuff like inside of 50 yards is pretty easy, but everything beyond 50 yards, I can actually appreciate as a different level of skill, as like a different set of skills now. I don't know if that's like if that was obvious to everyone already, but if you've never tried to like run 20 yards really hard and then shoot like an offhand piece of steel at 75 yards, it's less easy than it seems.
That sounds pretty hard. I've never done that before, but it doesn't sound easy.
The fundamentals for rifle shooting are a bit different than they are for pistol shooting. So if you spend 99.9% of your time in pistol shooting, you're gonna find that you're lacking in some things. Because I find that rifle shooting, it's a lot of finding the position to make yourself stable for the shot, versus in pistol, like you just gotta grip the gun hard, and if you pull a trigger without making the gun move, you're gonna hit whatever you're hitting or whatever you're shooting at. But
you're gonna hit what you hit.
But in rifle, the targets are smaller, and they're a lot farther away. So it's just a different set of skills that are required.
Well, that makes sense about the body positioning thing because I guess like a pro and a con of shooting a rifle is it's more attached to your body because of the stock. So
yeah, I shot first time ever a seated position during an actual match, and it was actually pretty competitive to do, which is really weird. Trying to shoot like so the start position was like in a shooting box, but it wasn't a 3x3. It was like half the size, so you couldn't lay down. So kicked it around with like the rest of the squad. Like, how do we do this? And I think the majority of people are like, well, kneeling doesn't really get you where you want to go because some part of the shooting is still like unsupported. So everyone did like this Indian style seated position, both elbows, both knees.
Crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, and that actually ended up being like
Indian
the most.
style anymore.
Oh. I'm sorry.
All right,
sorry,
I'm gonna stop it. We'll start over again.
I'm sorry, Indians. But
you're gonna get canceled.
That ended up being like the most stable way to hold the gun, to shoot a plate rack at like 90, 100, something like that. Like, it wouldn't seem like that big of a deal. Plate rack, everyone shot a plate rack, but try shooting it from like 90 yards away, freestyle, and not without being able to lay down. So it was like, okay, sitting is actually weirdly competitive.
That's cool.
And that's the thing. There's like so many different varieties of positions for long guns, and you're really playing with like which ones will give you the best stability for the time it takes to get into that position. So there's just so many more options. That's what makes it challenging, I think.
So I've heard people say that I'm sure you guys have heard this. The pistol skills transfer to rifles, but the other way around, not quite as much. But it sounds like there's still some rifle specific stuff that you have to practice on that won't be a pistol thing that transfers over. Does that sound true?
I would agree. And there's like, I would say, like exception rifle stuff, like shooting at small targets far away. That was like a little peculiar. And then there's the thing that screwed me the most, not in the AK match, but in the other match, I was shooting with the scoped optic. And so like 1-6, like everyone on their dock has 1-6. If you've never tried to shoot like kneeling, squatted down, head turned sideways, shooting through a slant port at a target that's like 90 yards away, it's a completely different experience than trying to do like the red dot or the handgun for that matter. It's like actually hard to do. It's one of those things where it's like, who dry fires that stuff and who doesn't, because the people that dry fire are like gods basically, because they actually nail like head position and everything, and everyone else just looks stupid.
So this is probably a stupid question, but I know like shooting target focused with pistols is kind of like a cheat code almost. Do you do that with rifles also? I'm assuming you're target focused at a minimum with a red dot, but are you with a scope?
So I shot open. So I actually put one of those what do you call it? Those Kydex covers on the SRO that I have in my rifle. But I shoot open. So I shot two optics, one red dot, one with the scope. And with the scope, I don't think I think if the target's like close enough, then I can go 2 eyes open. But otherwise, you still get this. I don't care who says it. Like when you look through a tube and it has like magnification or glass or something, like it does weird stuff to your brain. Like stuff looks weird looking through a tube of glass with both eyes open. I don't know if you guys like Matt or Calvin, you guys have ever like seen that.
Yeah, I can see how
it's kind of like you have a double vision where like one image overlaps the other and it kind of switches back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah,
I can see how one eye
feels
being
weird.
different than the other would be super weird.
Like it's 1x, but it's not like exactly 1x, so it's like actually strange.
Oh, I gotcha. So even if you close one eye, can you shoot target focus with one eye closed? I actually haven't ever thought about that before. You can focus on whatever point you want, even though only one eye's open, right?
Yeah, just ask Mike Pannone.
Oh.
Now we're making fun of disabilities.
Yeah.
Damn that.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna start it over again. But
I'm not insulting a disabled guy. It's just like I'm spitting out a fact. It's like, look, the guy's got one eye and he shoots target focused pistol or rifle.
So do you? And I'm actually asking, do you normally, or is it beneficial to shoot target focus through like a magnified optic, or is that?
I think it's more of like you don't really have much of a choice because you can set the different focuses for the reticle and also the target. If you have a parallax knob on your target, then you just basically shift that target into focus, which is effectively target focus at that point.
Oh, I see. Well, even if, yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's an. Anyways, I'll stop babbling about that. But that's randomly caught my attention.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a boomer. I only shoot Irons divisions.
Well, I like that. That's cool. So I got, I think Koi has this too now. This is like a hot topic on the gram recently, but I got this bad boy. I haven't really done anything with it yet, but I'm reading through the beginning. So
wait,
hopefully
you wanted to read it?
Yeah, no, it's
Dude,
good.
I just bought it so I could tag Ben on a story.
Oh
if you would
yeah,
notice me.
I
Shit.
haven't done that yet, but mostly because then I might get people's attention and they'll realize that don't actually have any idea what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with it some. So I think that'll be fun change up from handguns. Well, cool. Anything else on the rifle topic that you guys want to bring up?
Well, we all
Maybe
shot
not a rifle
CQB
topic.
We all shot
Oh,
CQB
yeah.
assessment
Oh
recently.
yeah.
How did that go?
It went terrible. I'm not gonna lie.
Really good. I thought it was like hot as shit, right?
I've heard it's really hard, right?
Yeah.
I've never shot it before, not yet at least, but
For the normies that don't shoot rifles often, yeah, it's tough.
I was
If you-
thinking like 200 was like a generous score to like let a lot of people get it. I have like an inclination to say now that so it's like scored out of 250 for people that don't know what this thing is. Go Google this. But CQB assessment scored out of 250. I feel like the standard for like making it that they set 204 is probably closer to like a M to GM assessment than it is like middle of the pack, like 50 points more to get is super easy.
Yo, from what I heard on or saw people posting on like Instagram and stuff, that like people that like regularly train with rifles were saying it was like really hard. So I would
I've got
imagine it's
some-
like next to impossible for a normal person.
I have a friend I won't name, but he's on a local SWAT team, and he spends way more time on rifles than the average person. And he was behind the par time by like a good 20+%. But
Oof.
in his mind, because he's not a competitive shooter, he's like, oh yeah, I'm only like 2 seconds behind. But 2 seconds behind on like a 9-second par time is huge.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, and so I was reading through the CQB warm up again. I haven't shot it yet, but it looked like anything over the par time is counted as a miss. So it's not like, oh, you just didn't make the par. It's like that's gonna like hammer your score.
Yeah.
So like for any of us that did shoot over par time, like if you weren't listening for the timer, like they're counted as zeros, and then because you did do extra shots, we just eliminated alphas.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't go past par time, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well, thankfully on like your last run, you didn't have any overtime shots, so
Well, my last run was my only run because my first run was with a broken rifle.
oh yeah, that is true. You and your SIGs.
Yeah. Which that's not public yet, so we probably need to take that out.
Oh, I was
Wait,
told no
You
editing.
with the what? Wait,
Okay.
what are we not supposed to say?
My one of my rifles that I spent an exorbitant amount of money on is in repair mode right now.
You can't say who, but can you say who it rhymes with?
It rhymes with big.
I'm looking for a Ray Ray Jacuzzi type comment here because that
No,
was
they're
hilarious.
they're taking care of it. They're taking care of me, so I'm not upset. Just sometimes shit happens.
You sound upset, dude.
That's not upset.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start this one over. We'll never get that sponsorship we've been looking for.
Yeah, from Big Bauer.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, that was funny. I wonder who that might be.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think for the three of us, like the pistol portions were just pretty easy. It's just hey, snap the safety on, drop the rifle, and then draw the pistol. And then
You know what
just
happened?
breathe.
You know what happened? I randomly turned my AR safety on and off. I don't know where the fuck that even came from. Because I don't do this when I shoot PCC, but just
Always an enabler, never a disabler.
exactly. Yeah, it was fucking weird because some stages would be like, "Did I just flick the safety on?" I was like, "Oh shit, I'm thinking about stuff instead of shooting."
That's the worst when you get like a conscious thought in the middle of the stage. It's like stop. That happens to me sometimes too.
Yeah, but going back to CQV assessment, all the standing and shooting stuff was really easy as far as par times. The hardest one for me was the very first string, where it's 2 shots from 40 yards onto 2 targets, going to prone, and then 2 shots on 2 targets. Like the time it takes you to get down to prone and fire those additional 4 shots, that's where there's like opportunity to lose so much time.
That seems like
'Cause,
something you could dry fire.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is
But
cool.
like going into it cold without practice, like that was tough.
What's like a competitive part? Like if you were gonna stand there and be like, I don't know how to hold a rifle. Sights on target, and then beep and drop down to prone, and then back to sights on target. What's like a par time for that? I'm assuming it says something about that in the book, but I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the book yet.
We have no clue. It's like, look,
Well,
you gotta figure out how to shoot.
I thought
8
you guys
shots.
had all the info on this rifle stuff, man.
No.
We don't have the book. That's why,
I'm
Connor.
gonna have to actually read this thing.
Fucking
God.
losers.
This was just finding out how much we suck at this.
Yeah.
But it like like going back to finished brutality, one thing I noticed was a lot of guys when they dropped the prone, they would move so much that they would waste a lot of time getting from standing to prone. Like they would drop really hard, but because they dropped so hard, they have to like recover and get their body back into a shooting position and get their gun back on the target. Versus like I don't know what the word to use, like a would brisk be the word, like
in control but quick.
Yeah, in control but quick, kind of like a cat would, right?
Kind of like kicking. It's kind of like you're kicking out.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it
not
seems
just
like there's
belly flopping to the ground.
Yeah, because it seems like there would be two parts, like physically laying on the ground and then also putting sights on the target again. So if you like go too hard getting yourself on the ground, you'd have to like readjust on the gun and everything, I would think.
Yeah. So I actually went to my knee and then kicked out, which seemed to soften the blow of the fall, and I was able to make the time. So if I were to practice that, that's probably what I would work on. Is that technique? Unless the book says something different, then I would do that instead. But
We'll never know.
yeah, we'll never know, right? Because we don't read them.
Who knows what's
But-
in the book?
I mean, like if you're on grass, then I guess maybe body slamming into the ground is fine. But we were doing this on gravel, and gravel hurts.
If
Well,
you
there's
body
no
slam on
grass in the
grass,
streets, Matt.
that's true. There's
Streets are concrete, boy.
That's what the suburbs are for, Connor.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. I'm interested to see how terribly I do on that, but I'm gonna definitely dry fire some before I get out there. Should be fun though.
Yeah, it definitely puts into perspective like how easy like rifle quals are for like most law enforcement departments. If you look at their rifle quals, like you can literally meet the times with like a bolt action rifle and the hit standard. Not even kidding.
Are you hating on Timmy's again? We already did
No.
that.
I think he said he was hating on cops right there, dude.
Oh
back
my
to the-
god.
Fuck, dude.
Oh.
All right, fourth restart. Well, cool. Anything else interesting about the rifle stuff that you guys want to talk about?
Go do it. Have some fun with it.
Yeah, it's your responsibility as an American to own a rifle and to fight the government.
See, this is, just with that reaction alone is how we know Connor pays his taxes.
Do you not? Do you know some way of getting away with that? I'm all ears. Oh man, okay. Yeah. This one's going super well tonight. So I'm gonna move on, and if you guys think of something rifle related, just interrupt me. But so my topic for tonight is I switched to carry optics again. This time I think it's a little bit more permanent. Last year I was just doing it for the off season, and this time I think I will dabble in production occasionally, but I think I'm like, switching. So I have, if you don't remember, I have these guns that are basically exactly the same as my production guns, but they just have dots on them and bigger magazines. So I'm shooting those and having fun with it. So I haven't done any live fire with these guns as far as practice goes. I have not live fired these guns in over a year. I think at least like 10 months. And I've shot one match with him so far, and I've been kind of doing super casual dry fire with them for I don't know 2 weeks or something, and it's going really well. I think I'm having fun with it. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the challenges of shooting carry optics after being a production shooter. And so the big one for me is shooting on the move and blending positions together. So
We already do that in production.
yeah, but not as much. Okay, so what I noticed is I was getting so I've only shot one match. I was supposed to have one last weekend, but it got rained out. But I shot one local match, and trying to keep up with like the local carry optics heat, I was behind the time, I think, on almost every field course. I might have had one that was pretty sporty, but I think the reason I was behind the time was because everyone else was taking almost the entire stage on the move. Like it would have to be like a 15-yard piece of steel for some of these people to like stop walking through the stage. So I'm obviously not comfortable with that yet, but I'm working on it. And so in production, I feel like it's less true shooting on the move usually, and more like shooting into and out of positions and maybe blending a position together if you have the mag capacity for it. But in carry optics, it was kind of a culture shock with just moving the entire time almost. So yeah, that was pretty interesting, I thought. So I guess Matt, you normally shoot carry optics, and Koi, you shoot open a lot. So what do you guys think about that perspective? Does that sound accurate, or am I off
It
base?
does. It does. And I think that because I'm a shitlord that refuses to shoot alphas, I also just like cruise through stuff when you guys probably as responsible minor shooters probably like actually do some amount of like stability on A zones versus rolling through. I actually noticed this. There's one kind of blending topics back to like the rifle match thing. There's one stage where you actually legit had to go 150 yards, and it was a bunch of like I'm trivializing it a bit, but it's like a bunch of left and right shooting arrays for about 150 yards, and I was like, well, how can we do this? I saw a bunch of people that, to me, evidently didn't shoot competitive because they posted up in the back, used their 6x scopes, and shot everything down the left and then everything down the right. And then there was targets at the back of the stage where you had to like run, like go all the way up to shoot them. And I no shit, just kind of walking speed because there was enough target engagement and target density. Walking speed like shot the entire stage at a walking pace and was probably 25% faster than everyone else, and it felt miserable. Like, just you ever imagine like shooting a stage and you just like shoot real slow and walk real slow, and you're like, oh, I won the stage. Like, it always feels like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it looked like people were doing, was like they weren't actually, or it didn't appear that they were being that aggressive. Like they weren't running on the move the whole time. They were just kind of stepping through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, in carry optics, that's usually how it feels. You can, it's a chance to get away with a lot more while still getting the same amount of points.
Yeah, and I think I think it's going to take some practice in dry fire. I also and one of these days I'm going to actually go live fire practice, but I'd like to do that track the A zone drill because I feel like that's super applicable. I mean, just in general, but also specifically for carry optics because you do so much of that. You know, when you have 24 rounds in a dot. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It also one of the other things, I know I literally always bring this up, but it cemented my opinion even more than it already was that target focus is the way to go. So obviously everybody knows that with a dot especially, but when you're shooting on the move, if you're not target focused, it bites you even harder than when you're stationary. So, you know, you'll start dragging shots in the direction that you're moving. You know, like if they're partial targets, that hurts even more, and etc. So I think doing that really helped me. I think I've gotten relatively good at that, and so I think when I kind of force myself to keep my feet moving and do it on the move, being target focused kind of made me get that like, oh, I can actually do this feeling. So I need to get more comfortable with it. I need to practice it and get better at it. But there's also kind of the mental block of just forcing myself to do it sometimes.
Another thing that you're gonna see as you're doing track the A zone or another like movement style drill while you're shooting on the move, you're gonna have a bit more appreciation of the dot because you're actually gonna see how the dot bounces with each footstep, as opposed to irons where like maybe you'll see something, but it's just simply magnified more since you see light and color with a dot.
Yeah, you have to pay attention more with iron sights to notice that. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention on that other than I thought it was a super fun challenge. You know, you shoot a stage and you feel like you shot it well, and then someone else shoots it like 2 seconds faster than you or something. And you're like, oh crap, I'm way behind the curve here. So that was fun and motivating.
You know what the fix is, right?
Suck less or what?
Say no. Matt knows the answer. Matt knows the answer. Raw time champ.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I have a hard time mentally forcing myself to have that mentality about it, but I do need to give that a try.
But Connor, each and every single time you do it, you just look at it as a $30 investment in your shooting.
Well, yeah, and I think yeah, it's like I'm trying to think how to describe it. It's not that I care that much about $30 or that I care that much about you know, my placement at a local match, you know. It's like it's not that I'm that invested in those things. It's more that I'm invested in trying to do my best. And so I think like if I try to be, you know, raw time champ or whatever for the stage or for the match, then you know it's probably not going to go that well, especially the first time you do it, unless you just get lucky. But it's for the like the long-term investment is why you do that. And so I think I need to get past that little mental block of like, it's okay if you don't do that well at this match. You're making the long-term investment trying to, you know, break down these mental barriers with speed. So I have trouble with that, admittedly. I need to go
Just
all
gotta
in on that.
go the opposite the way. You don't win unless you have the lowest time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll try to convince myself of that because I am convinced that it's a good thing to practice occasionally, but I have a hard time actually doing it.
And Connor, you just got to look at the prime example in our area. Look at Dazzy. He has raw time. He has raw points.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dazzy has raw time champ, but he normally also gets raw point champ. So I don't know if that's the best example, but
Just do the same thing.
yeah,
Well,
just
I
do
mean,
exactly
look
what
at
Dazzy
look
does.
at all the. Well, I mean, dude, just look at all the open GMs in our area that he beats.
No, yeah,
Beats him
he's
by time.
amazing. Yeah, no, he's great.
Maybe there's like a secret meta of dry firing everything on the move, but figuring out how to do it in a 10x10 room. You know what I mean? Like, because it's kind of tough, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of tough to get like the whole experience of shooting on the move with like
Well,
10x10
yeah,
space.
because you can scale everything down except like your body. So it's like I even though all the targets are smaller, I still can get across my room in like 3 steps with my short little legs. So it's like it's hard to scale that part. But
I thought you were calling me fat for a sec.
well,
It's
yeah.
cool.
I'd be pot calling kettle if I did that. So.
Is this where like backyard dry fire becomes actually beneficial? So you have like all the space you need to move around and stuff.
I
mean,
think
if
it
you're
would
gonna
be,
go
but
outside, you might as
yeah.
well just use ammo.
Yeah. Plus, I live in Houston, so my neighbors would probably like return fire or some shit. Fuck.
Your neighbors have guns?
It's Texas.
They drive Ultimas too, so.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. So they probably all have block switches.
But yeah, so I'm waiting on Calvin to put a dot on his guns one of these days.
No, dude, now I am the DFW production champion.
That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah.
You should put
I'm
that
the
on a
top
hat or
production
something.
champion in DFW now. Because I'm the only
Well,
one left.
yeah, I tell you what, that was me when you stopped shooting. I was by default the top production shooter for like the last 6 months, and that's why I wanted to switch. It gets boring when
Has it been 6 months? I stopped shooting
I think
USPSA in August.
really.
Yeah.
I think the last production match I shot with you has been a minute. I don't remember when it was, but it feels like earlier this summer or something. Maybe it was August. I don't know.
Of course, you don't know.
That's-
You haven't been hanging out with the boys.
I know. I
Well,
shot Area 3 in August.
oh, okay. Well, I didn't go to Area 3. But no, I think the last match I was supposed to shoot with you was when Matt picked me up hungover and drove me out to the hottest match in Texas, and then you were supposed to show up with and shoot my Shadow 2 against me, and you didn't show up.
Oh yeah, I was sick, I think.
I was struggling to
Jeff
survive, and you
freaking
weren't
got
even
COVID
there.
again.
Yeah. Well, it still worked out. I did well with the Shadow 2 in Finland, so
Yeah,
I
good
definitely
deal.
appreciate the loader gun.
Oh yeah, anytime. I don't think you're gonna take me up on it again though, because you didn't really seem to like them as much as me.
I'd have to send them to CGW or something and spend
Oh
another
God,
$5,000 to make them fit my hands.
good God, that sounds horrible. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to shooting more carry optics. I'm gonna try to chase everyone down as far as time goes, at least all the people locally, because I was super off pace on that. But overall, I'm having a ton of fun. So I think that's all I had on that topic, though. I don't know. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? I didn't get any good listener questions. No offense if you were one of the like few people who sent me one, but they kind of sucked. So sorry, guys. Send
I
better
didn't
questions.
ask.
I got one that I know Koi's gonna like answering from Shooty Louie. How many poops do you poop a day?
I'm a regular kind of guy, so once. Make sure you get enough fiber. My wife actually just dropped off my oatmeal cookies, so eat your fiber. Shit once a day. Any more than that's honestly unacceptable.
All right, you heard it here first.
Unacceptable.
Actually, hey, coming back to carbines. Calvin and I actually shot a PCC multi-gun variant of PCSL.
I don't know why that was such a funny transition. That's like, speaking of feces, let's talk about rifle shooting again. But okay, yeah. I actually tell us about that. That
Yeah.
sounds like
So Max Leograndis sold his house in Utah and then decided to drop by in Texas and set up with some of the match directors up at Mission 160. And what ended up happening is that we did a PCC only for the rifle portion of the multi-gun, and then pistols are pistols. So you could do competitive PCC, whatever lots you wanted done to it, whatever magazine size, but pistols had to fit either practical or competitive. So like it's either open guns or carry optics limited guns, basically. Pretty much overall 5 stages. Like it kind of the way that it was set up was kind of more like what you would typically see in a multi-gun match, like dump boxes for pistols or your PCC, that kind of thing. But any targets that are pistol are brown and blue for steel. Any rifle targets were all white, so it's either white paper or white steel, that kind of thing. Overall, the format was fitting for the range that we were at, maximum distance of 25 yards. It actually fit out pretty well and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, what got me at that match was the targets. The A zone, it starts a little bit higher and a USPSA target. So if you're used to taking up the whole entire A zone, as far as like your confirmation, you're gonna be shooting a lot of Alpha Charlies like I did. I'm not sure if you had the same problem, Matt, but like I had so many shots like 1 inch below the Alpha on
Yeah.
their on the PCSL targets.
I had the same issue because I was a lot more used to looking like relatively lower on the target. If this is the bottom of the alpha, I actually sometimes ended up aiming about here, so like an inch or so low. And then the interesting thing that changed things up a little bit, if you were willing to take the time, was the kilo zone, which was basically acted as a 2 alpha.
Yeah, which is like the head box.
So if you wanted to try saving ammo and take the time to focus on that one spot, you could take that shot and just save an extra round.
It's not
Is
really
it ever worth it to do that?
Occasionally.
In a few rare spots, it was, especially for
Yeah.
pistol, where you had a high risk factor of running out of ammo.
I actually think that's a cool thing. It's not really a rifle specific thing, but this showed up at the Suns match. If you're shooting open with a 60 round drum, it doesn't matter. But there were a couple of guys shooting like limited. Some guy was shooting like a 30 cal gun, so he only had 20 rounds. But the dynamic of like shooting a single hit to count for the entire score of the target versus send to anywhere, actually presents like an interesting risk reward situation. I don't know how practical that is, but it's kind of cool for games.
Didn't
That's
3-gun do
that's
that?
like heavy versus light divisions, right?
There was some other shooting sport that tried that. Where
I
it
think
was
it's
like,
3-gun. I think it's 3-gun.
think
One
it's
of the
something-
I don't. There's a million 3-gun things, but yeah.
Yeah.
One of the 3-gun things.
I've never shot a 3-gun match, but I heard from people that that was an option, but realistically, everyone always just hosed 2 at the target, because it
Yeah,
was except in the rare instances where you like were super ammo limited for one reason or another. Like generally speaking, no one ever shot 1; they always shot 2.
Yeah, it's because in 3-gun, basically 2 deltas is the same thing as getting an alpha. But in PCSL, it's all hit factor, so you don't want those 2 deltas.
So it's with the points make it more of an interesting proposition. Okay,
Right.
that's cool. I like that.
Another points perspective for PCSL was that there was no such thing as a no penalty mic. Any targets that were disappearing will count as a mic if they weren't hit. So like we had a signal presentation bobber. If you didn't shoot at it at all, it's two mics and then one procedural for failure to shoot at. And then and if let's just say you got an alpha, but you also had a mic, that is alpha mic.
So do you think that really like mattered?
It did in the long run, especially because hit factor scoring, and then any mics is just completely detrimental to your match overall.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm wondering if it matters as soon. I mean, obviously it's the same for everybody that shot the match. So I guess having no penalty mics just makes it so that sometimes there might be instances where you choose not to engage a target.
Yeah. PCSL
So that just
makes you
eliminates that possibility.
Exactly.
Which-
PCSL just makes you shoot at everything.
Yeah, which honestly I'm okay with that. It seems like some of those stages where people choose not to engage a target that's NPMs, it always strikes me as kind of gimmicky and weird. I don't know. I don't really like those stages.
It's kind of like removing one of the, I guess you could call, complications of PSA in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
hate
want
that.
to. I don't want to like name names here, but if you think that was bad, there's one stage where you just shoot a bunch of dumb shit like 100 yards away through a VTAC barrier, and including an MGM spinner. So it's like two heads, and you shoot it, and it rocks back and forth until you flip it over, and someone calls over. Speaking of gaming, me and this other guy, we gamed that stage.
Did you say gaming or gay
Yeah,
men?
gaming.
Oh, okay.
Same.
It sounded the same. I'm
Same.
not judging.
Between me and him, same. So we didn't shoot that thing. Well, we didn't shoot that. We didn't shoot actually half the stage because of the whole like penalty NPM dynamic. He got he won high overall in his division by not shooting half the stage because we gamed the stupid timing dynamics for penalties. It's the whole squad behind us was like gnashing their teeth like this is not the spirit of the sport. I can't believe you guys did that.
Well, then they should make you shoot everything. Like penalize it more. Don't let. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
see. That's why I think maybe this whole eliminate the NPMs. That sounds good to me.
What was the penalty for not shooting like the star?
So
or
it was
whatever?
yeah,
the
the
spinner.
spinner. It was 30 seconds, and I sat there behind half the squad with a timer, and I'm like, ain't no fucking way I'm shooting at this thing. In fact, these other targets, I'm like on the timer too, because the challenge, right? So I don't know if you guys have an idea in your head, but you had to shoot through a VTAC barrier, and you had to shoot a different target through through a different port of the barrier. And so 5 targets, and people will usually reserve the biggest port for the spinner. But just watching people get in the port, it's like, well, that's 5 seconds, 25 more seconds to spin the shit at 100 yards. So good luck, boys.
Oh, it was 100 yards away.
Yeah,
Wow.
And you're burning like 40 cents a shot.
exactly.
Yeah, the brutality matches. I think like not spinning a spinner is like a freaking like 90-second penalty or something ridiculous. So like they essentially force you to do it.
Yeah, and 90 seconds, it's definitely worth the shoot. I didn't see anyone
Yeah.
clear it faster than like 40, like really well. And so I was like, you know what? I've got this pussy 55 grain dumb shit. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna shoot at it and see what happens.
That's the
Like,
way
how
to do it.
I mean, like, how many rounds does it take on average to clear a spinner?
I think it matters like on the caliber. I saw 30 Cowboys clear it 3 shots, but that's just because 3 shots of 200 grain something like turns the
Yeah.
fuck out of a spinner.
That was 2 misses and 1 hit, probably too.
Yeah, with 55 grain 223, it takes a few shots, and then more if you're bad.
Like, it takes.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, that's me.
I mean, it takes like half a mag, right?
Yeah, because you gotta
Yeah.
shoot, because you can't just shoot bottom. I saw one guy shoot bottom only, and it took him like a minute to do it. I'm like, Christ, this is horrible.
God.
So you can't just be good at shooting the small target through a weird awkward position. You got to shoot like bottom, then track up and shoot it whenever it passes at the opportunity to shoot it. Then shoot down again, then shoot up, then shoot down, and you have to do that really well. I'm like, you know what? Let's just agree not to. I'll take the 30 seconds and we'll see what happens.
I'm glad we don't have those in USPSA.
Yeah,
They're not
popular.
they're not unreasonable to shoot at like USPSA distances. They're not too crazy.
Yeah, this was a long time ago, but I remember at an outlaw match, I've only shot one once, and it was at an outlaw match, and I remember feeling like I think I did it in like 5 or 6 shots. It was like 15 yards. It wasn't super far, but it wasn't really close either. And I remember feeling like I got lucky that it spun over. I was like, oh, that was 50%
I've still never
luck at
spun
least.
one in my life, and I've won matches without spinning one.
Nice. Yeah, I've literally only ever shot one once. Well, boys, I don't have any more topics. No one sent me any questions. Anybody got anything?
Eat your fiber. Shit normally.
Shoot rifle matches.
Shoot rifle matches. Exactly. Exactly.
Don't have a rifle match. Start up a rifle match.
All right, guys. Thank you, and everyone, stay tuned for next time.